Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom, Canada, and her other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith. Proclamation. To our faithful, the members elected to serve in the Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta, and to each and every one of you, greeting. Whereas it is our will and pleasure, by and with the advice and consent of our Executive Council of our province of Alberta, to prorogue the first session of the 22nd Legislature of Alberta, we do hereby prorogue, effective March 7th, 1990, the said legislature, and whereas it is deemed expedient for certain causes and considerations to convene the Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta for the second session of the 22nd Legislature, we do will that you and each of you, and all others in this behalf interested, on Thursday, the 8th day of March, AD 1990, at the hour of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at our city of Edmonton, personally be and appear for the dispatch of business to treat, act, do, and conclude upon those things which, in the legislature of our province of Alberta, by the common council of our said province, may, by the favor of God, be ordained. Herein fail not. In testimony whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent, and the great seal of our province of Alberta to be hereunto affixed. Witness, the Honorable W. Helen Hunley, Lieutenant Governor of our province of Alberta, in our city of Edmonton, in our province of Alberta, this 8th day of February, in the year of our Lord, 1990, and in the 39th year of our reign. By command, Honorable Ken Rostad, Provincial Secretary. Please be seated.
That was the reading of the proclamation. The proclamation concludes the previous session, and now the members will be convening the current session. The clerk of the Assembly is Dr. David McNeil. Dr. David McNeil was one of the speakers that came in just recently, or one of the clerks, I should say. The first clerk was appointed in the year 1363, and the term clerk basically means one who can read and write. It may be interesting to note that how the members line up in the Assembly. The Assembly, or the Legislature, is also called the House. In the upper houses, the floor rugging is red, as in the Senate. But in Alberta and the provincial legislatures, where they have just the lower house, or the House of Parliament, the rugs are green. And so that is the significance between the upper chamber and the lower chamber. The first person that you saw coming into the Assembly was the Sergeant of Arms, Oscar Lacombe. He's been a long time Sergeant at Arms, and an interesting feature about the Sergeant of Arms, he always carries a long sword. Traditionally, the distance between the government members and the opposition members was 2 sword lengths. The sword the Sergeant of Arms is wearing at this time was presented to the Assembly at the 75th anniversary by the famous sword makers, Wilkinson Sword. We are now waiting for the speakers' procession are now coming in.
Let us pray. The prayer we use is that as used at Westminster, the Mother of Parliament's since the year 1659. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all our considerations. Amen. Please be seated.
The Speaker of the present Assembly is the Honourable David Carter, the Honourable Member for Calgary-Egmont. The Speaker basically serves as as sort of the umpire or referee. All the speeches must go through the Speaker. We traditionally start our speeches in the legislature by saying, Mr. Speaker, and then you proceed. The canopy that the Speaker is surrounded by was presented by the City of Edmonton, and it was presented on the 75th anniversary of the province. Another interesting feature is when the Lieutenant Governor will be sitting on the chair, it will be called a throne because she represents the Queen, but when the Speaker is speaking or sitting in, it's called the chair of the House. The Assembly is now waiting for the Lieutenant Governor to come in. And the Lieutenant Governor is our symbolic representative of the Queen under the British parliamentary system. It's always an exciting time at the opening of the first legislature, and this is the second session of the 22nd sitting of the legislature in Alberta, and the members and their families and their friends always look forward to the opening of this session. It's one of our traditions. I think probably one of the most exciting times is for the new members. It's always such a thrill the first time that you sit in this assembly. The goose pimples really stand out on you.
Pray be seated. Mr. Speaker and members of the Legislative Assembly, I have the honor to welcome you to the second session of the 22nd Legislature of the Province of Alberta. Albertans look forward this summer to the visit of Her Majesty the Queen. In recognition of International Women's Day, I am pleased to observe that all members of the Assembly are wearing the commemorative symbol, the red rose. As we begin this first session of this new decade and move forward to the next century, it is important to outline the role my government will undertake. My government must be a steward for Albertans. They have placed their trust and faith in this Assembly through this province's strong democratic traditions. And this Assembly must be everything a steward should be: a manager, a provider, a protector, a responder, a defender. As a steward, my government does not dictate the common will, but rather must listen to the voices of Albertans and express their will through the instruments of government that Albertans entrust to this Assembly. I now outline the direction this stewardship will take. Fiscal responsibility, managing the Treasury. As stewards of the budget, my government's ultimate responsibility is to this and future generations of Albertans. Recognizing the perils of deficit spending and the effect it has on investor and consumer confidence, and recognizing the priority Albertans place on fiscal responsibility, my government has presented a plan for a balanced budget by 1992. My government has heard Albertans' concerns with regard to maintaining the quality of services they now enjoy. While it may at first appear that these two concerns, balancing the budget and maintaining the quality of service, are contradictory, my government is confident that through careful fiscal management, the elimination of duplication of programs and services, and an expanding economy, both goals will be achieved. My government must act as steward for Alberta on other fiscal matters. Two federal initiatives, the proposed goods and services tax and the Bank of Canada high interest rate policy, threaten to undermine Alberta's current economic growth, to undermine my government's ability to respond to the needs of Albertans, and to undermine their economic freedom. My government remains strongly opposed to both these federal initiatives. The economy, providing opportunity. As an economic steward, my government will provide information, assistance, and encouragement. But it is the efforts, ideas, and abilities of Albertans that make the economy so vibrant. Alberta must continue on its path towards diversification in new industries and enhance competitiveness in traditional industries. My government will assist Alberta business to seize the economic opportunities of growing world markets. Through helping Alberta and foreign businesses make contact, providing intelligence on current markets, promoting this province and its businesses, continuing trade negotiations in order to reduce barriers to trade, providing an efficient transportation system throughout the province, and through providing education and training programs that better equip Albertans for the ever-changing world economy. My government is committed to reducing intervention in the Alberta economy. The people, management, and labor together, and market forces must determine Alberta's economic future. Alberta's traditional industries, agriculture and energy, will continue to provide a strong economic base. Within these industries, Albertans continue to diversify, streamline, and expand. My government recognizes and is grateful for Albertans' efforts in building these industries. The results of their efforts are major projects and increasing markets for natural gas, which will provide for sustained growth well into this decade. In Alberta's newer sectors, tourism, forestry, high technology, petrochemicals, and manufacturing, Albertans show the rest of Canada and the world their extraordinary ability and flexibility in creating and developing a diversified economy throughout the province. These are truly the industries of the future and will provide tens of thousands of Albertans with rewarding employment opportunities. My government welcomes the growth of small business and the new breed of entrepreneurs in this province. The economic future of Alberta is filled with challenges and opportunities. It will be the ability to make timely decisions that will determine this future. I am confident that Albertans, with my government's help, will make the right choices. environment, protecting the province. My government recognizes how important the environment has been to Albertans and how important this issue will continue to be as we move towards the next century. My government is proud that as a result of the people of Alberta and my government working together, Alberta is the cleanest province in Canada. We live in a time of rapid change, and my government recognizes the evolving needs of this province, Canada, and indeed the world with respect to this challenge. My government also recognizes that economic development and environmental protection do not have to be at odds with one another. As we begin this new decade, my government is confident that Alberta can show the rest of the world what sustainable development really means. By developing new, comprehensive laws in full consultation with the people of Alberta, by holding public discussions on major development projects throughout the province, by increasing public awareness of the environment and the role all Albertans have to play in protecting it, by incorporating the latest environmental technologies in all our industrial sectors, by preserving land for parks and recreational use, by developing new waste management and recycling techniques and industries for use in Alberta and export around the world, and by working with other governments to find common environmental standards, Alberta can both develop its vast natural resources and protect and enhance the environment, and in doing so, achieve our enormous potential. Finally, my government recognizes that Alberta's air, land, and water are affected by the actions of others. A global approach to protecting the environment must continue. Whatever expertise we have must be shared, and whatever expertise we are lacking must be sought. This is how my government, an environmental steward, will proceed. The people responding to the need. The greatest resource of this province are the people, and my government must be a government for all Albertans, a steward for the young and the old, the rural and the urban. For men and women equally, my government must respond to the needs of the whole of the province. Encouraging Albertans to live healthy and productive lives continues to be a very high priority of my government. Health and productivity do not result only from providing medical services to the ill, but from providing access to preventive services, treatment services, and educational programs that will allow them to maintain and improve their physical and mental well-being. Whether it is enhancing the mental health system or providing better access to substance abuse treatment or implementing recommendations of the Premier's Commission on the Future Health Care of Albertans, my government will continue to respond to the health needs of the people. A productive life is one that is more than just healthy. It is an enriching and rewarding life as well. These riches and rewards come from strong families, education, recreational opportunities, acceptance of different religions and cultures, safe communities, ensuring equal opportunities for women, and the security of knowing that society will assist those who become disabled or disadvantaged. By ensuring that our assistance programs reflect the needs of Albertans, by caring for seniors, by providing daycare programs that provide parents with secure options for raising their children, by preventing violence in and out of the home, and providing assistance to those victims of violence, by ensuring the law protects the individual rights and freedoms of Albertans, and by responding to the changing educational needs of the people, my government will help to make Alberta a more rewarding and enriching place to live. These educational needs are the top priority of my government, for the future success of this province lies in the success of the children. As a steward, my government will ensure that Alberta students have access to all levels of education, regardless of where they live in the province. Ensure that curricula prepares students for higher education and the workplace, particularly in the areas of science and technology. and ensure that new tuition policies are developed in consultation with students, faculty, and the public. Alberta and Canada, defending the Constitution. As a steward, two other roles my government must perform are to defend Alberta's place as an equal partner in Confederation and to help improve Confederation. With respect to these roles, there are major challenges that will continue to face this province and this country in the months ahead. On October the 16th, 1989, more than 600,000 Albertans voted in the first senatorial selection in the history of our nation and chose a nominee for appointment to the Senate of Canada. To this date, the Prime Minister has not appointed Alberta's clear choice, and my government finds this completely unacceptable. Further, my government will resist any court challenges of the constitutionality of Alberta's Senate selection. Democracy in Canada is not unconstitutional. My government will also continue its efforts to achieve comprehensive reform of the Senate. An equal, elected, effective Senate, a model for reform developed by Albertans, will provide all the provinces a better voice in the federal parliament and improve the workings of Confederation. As a steward, my government will continue to provide leadership throughout Canada on this issue. My government will continue to support constitutional change on the principle that change must make Confederation whole, with all provinces as full participants. Recognizing that change must provide for the constitutional equality of the provinces, and that Albertans will not accept second-class status, that change must not grant any special powers or status to any one province. That change must provide the provinces with a greater role in immigration and appointments to the Supreme Court of Canada. That change must strengthen the provinces' ability to carry out their responsibilities without interference from the federal government and their fiscal powers. And finally, recognizing that change must provide a process through which Senate reform will be achieved, my government wishes to see these changes to our Constitution succeed. The Constitution exists to serve the people of Canada and therefore must evolve as society evolves. My government is committed to this evolution in a spirit of caring, compromise, and generosity. My government also stewards Alberta's international relations. Building upon the special relations Alberta has maintained with Heilongjiang, the People's Republic of China, Hokkaido, Japan, and Gangwon, the Republic of Korea, my government has recently signed an agreement with the Russian Soviet Federated Socialist Republic. Because of the sweeping democratic reforms taking place in the Soviet Union and the rest of Eastern Europe, this agreement will provide opportunities in many areas, including trade, investment, culture, education, recreation, science, and technology. 1990 will be highlighted by exchanges and celebrations to commemorate the centennial of Ukrainian immigration to Canada. Today, I have outlined my government's vision for Alberta. The people of Alberta have entrusted my government with the instruments that are necessary to carry out this vision. Because vision alone cannot address the needs and aspirations of this province and its people, a plan of action is required. My government has that plan. Having listened to the people of Alberta and having heard the common will, my government will, in this session, introduce comprehensive environmental protection legislation, create a Natural Resources Conservation Board, modeled after the highly respected Energy Resources Conservation Board, introduce a new Loan and Trust Corporation Act that will reflect today's complex and competitive financial sector, introduce a Financial Consumers Act that will provide more fairness to consumers, implement training standards for daycare managers and workers, establish the Alberta Family Life and Drug Abuse Foundation, amend the Individuals' Rights Protection Act to prohibit discrimination based on mental disability, Introduce reforms to the social allowance program to encourage greater independence. Establish program policy for International Literacy Year. Establish the Lakeland Provincial Park and Recreation Area. Expand and improve the Treasury branches. Introduce changes to the oil sands lease tenure system. Institute a comprehensive crop insurance program. Seek an amendment to the Constitution of Canada to implement the META settlements agreements. Introduce legislation to reflect the new realities of telecommunications and advanced technology industries. And introduce other legislation, programs, and fiscal measures for consideration and deliberation in this House. As a steward for the people of Alberta, performing all the roles I have outlined today, my government must be flexible and focused, diverse and united. But most importantly, my government must reflect the honesty, decency, and integrity that are ever present in Alberta society. As a steward, my government must mirror the values of Albertans and reflect their high ethical standards. In due course, you will be presented with budget estimates. You will be asked to authorize the necessary funds for operating services and expenditures, and to endorse a program of capital financing for the government of Alberta. You represent a beautiful province of strength, hope, and promise. And now I leave you to the business of this session, confident that, as elected representatives, you will in every way fulfill your responsibilities as stewards for Albertans. Mr. Speaker and members of the Legislative Assembly, I pray that the blessing of God may rest upon your deliberations. God bless Alberta. God save the Queen.
The Lieutenant Governor will now be leaving the Assembly. The people preceding her is her aide-de-camp, and the men that are on either side of her are the gentleman escort. They are the top officers of the RCMP, City Police, and senior military officers. With the procession, the Premier and the Speaker are also going up with her. The trumpet that you hear were a gift to the Assembly by the City of Calgary, and the trumpeters are from Coal Lake Brass and Reed Band and the City of Edmonton Air Squadron. When the Lieutenant Governor comes in, you notice that the Assembly always rises.
Please be seated while we await the return of the Premier.
Perhaps you noticed that when the Lieutenant Governor was giving her throne speech, that the mace, which is a symbol of the authority of the House, is always in place when the House conducts its business. And it's always resting with the top directed toward the government side. And I think you'd probably find it interesting that the present mace was a gift to the legislature by the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees in 1955, when it was the 50th anniversary of the province. There are always a few light moments in the legislature. I know possibly you noticed that the leader of the official opposition was hastily scribbling notes, as well as the leader of the Liberal Party. It's the first time that these two gentlemen have had the opportunity to hear or see the speech from the throne. So they have to take notes down and be able to respond to the media right after the opening ceremonies are over. And I always remembered it was really, you had to do a lot of work, so people thought maybe you were being a little bit disrespectful. But what you were trying to do is get something intelligent in place to be able to speak to the media after the throne speech was given. The clerk of the assembly was speaking to the speaker, and the premier is now coming into the legislature. And the business of the House now will go from the lieutenant governor, who is the Queen's representative, and will become the property of the House.
Mr. Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to introduce a bill, being Bill Number 1, the Premier's Council on Science and Technology Act. Mr. Speaker, I believe all members of the legislature, and indeed all Albertans, know how important science and technology is to the future of our province. Along with the education of our children, I think it is one of the keys to how we will compete in the future. We wish to be able to seek advice, consultation from a broad spectrum of Albertans in this regard, and this act allows us to do that.
The Honourable the Premier has moved first reading of Bill 1, Premier's Council on Science and Technology Act. With all honourable members in favour of the motion for first reading, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. So ordered.
Bill number 1, Premier's Council on Science and Technology Act, introduced by the Honourable Mr. Getty, is now read a first time.
I have the honour to table a copy of the speech graciously given by Her Honour, the Lieutenant Governor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of Her Honor, the Honourable the Lieutenant Governor, to this Assembly be taken into consideration tomorrow.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Premier, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. So ordered. Mr. Multiculturalism.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the votes and proceedings of the Assembly be printed after first having been perused by Mr. Speaker, and that he do appoint the printing thereof, and that no person but such as he shall appoint do presume to print the same.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Minister of Culture and Multiculturalism, with all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried. Associate Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the select standing committees for the present session of the Legislative Assembly be appointed for the following purposes. 1. Privileges and elections, standing orders, and printing. 2. Public accounts. 3. Private bills. 4. Laws and regulations. 5. Public affairs. 6. The Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund Act. And legislative offices.
Having heard the motion as presented by the Associate Minister of Agriculture, those members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried. Honourable Minister of Forestry, Lands and Wildlife.
Mr. Speaker, I move that a special committee be appointed consisting of 7 members hereinafter named, the said committee to prepare and report with all convenient speed lists of members to act on the select standing committees ordered by this Assembly. Mr. Day to serve as chairman, Mrs. Black, Mr. Cherry, Mr. Highland, Mrs. B. Lang, Mr. Fox, and Mrs. Hughes.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Ministry of Forestry, Lands and Wildlife, those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried. Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move the Assembly stand adjourned till tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
All those in favour of the motion by the Government House Leader, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion carries. The Assembly stands adjourned until tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Now that the Premier brought in a non-money bill, the proceedings of the Assembly are in the hands of the Assembly. When the session is on regularly, the Speaker and the Sergeant-at-Arms come in through the side door, but because this is the ceremonial afternoon, they go out through the main doors. The differentiation between a non-money bill and a money bill is because if it was a money bill, the Lieutenant Governor would still be in control, because money bills must always be passed by the Lieutenant Governor. The Speaker, as you notice, is accompanied quite often by pages. There's the Speaker's page and the main page. They are the people, boys and girls, who carry messages within the Assembly and from outside the Assembly into the members, because no one can come into the House unless they are a member of the Assembly.